Imagine you're in a forest. Your eyes see a tiger charging at you, but your legs didn't get the message. Your eyes are screaming, run, but your legs are just standing there relaxed because you froze. What happens? You get eaten. And this is exactly how 90% of businesses operate today. Your sales team, which is your eyes, sees a customer order, but the warehouse, which is your legs, doesn't know anything about it. And so nothing ships. So your marketing team is running ads for a product that your procurement team stopped buying 3 months ago. This condition is called business amnesia. And it is the number one reason why companies fail to scale past $10 million in revenue. The cure for this disease has a very boring name. It's an ERP, or what we call as the enterprise resource planning. I know it's a mouthful, and if you Google it, you'll get corporate jargon about integrated processes. That doesn't help you. Hi, I'm Noel Benjamin Dcosta, and I've managed $700 million in digital transformation budgets for global giants like Etihad Airways and the government defense sectors. In this video, I'm going to explain how an ERP acts as a central nervous system of your company and why, if you're serious about valuation, you might need a brain transplant sooner than you think. So, when a CEO calls me and says, Noel, I think we have a problem, I don't guess. I just run a very specific 4-point diagnostic, and I call this SILO, SILO. If your company tests positive for these 4 symptoms, you don't just have a problem, you have a crisis. So S is for separate systems. So you have QuickBooks for finance, you have HubSpot for sales, you have Excel for inventory, and nothing talks to anything else. I is for inconsistent data. Sales says you have 10 units, but the warehouse says you have 0. So who's telling the truth? You don't know. L is for lagging reports. You have to wait until 15 days after the month end just to get your P&L. And you're driving the car while looking out the back window. O is for opaque costs because your data is messy. You don't actually know your true margin on that last deal. You think you made money, but you have actually lost money. So if you have silo or SILO, you are running what I call a Frankenstein business. So let me show you how a Frankenstein business loses money in the real world. So it really starts innocently. On day 1, you buy QuickBooks. Everybody does that. On day 90, you buy HubSpot. Uh, on day 180, you track stock in Excel. So now let's walk through this disaster scenario, right? So you have 10 red t-shirts in your warehouse. Now Shopify, your front end says you have 10. Excel says you have 10. So everything looks fine until now. At 10 a.m., a wholesale client calls your sales rep and they want to buy all the 10 t-shirts. And the sales guy says yes. And he tags the box as sold. Now, the crucial point. Because of S, which is separate systems, he does not log into the website to update the stock. So physically, you have 0. Digitally, Shopify thinks you have 10. Now at 10:05 a.m., a web customer logs in into your beautiful Shopify site. Now Shopify sees quantity 10. It tells the customer it's in stock, buy now. So the customer buys it, and then Shopify charges their credit card. Now, at 10:10, your warehouse manager walks to that shelf, but it's empty. This is inconsistent data. Now you have a crisis. You have to email the client, you have to refund the money and beg them not to leave a 1-star review. Now, the mess isn't over yet. So your accountant sees the sale in QuickBooks and books the revenue. Now your books show profit that doesn't exist. This is O, opaque costs. You've just spent 4 hours of your time to lose a customer. This is the Frankenstein tax. An ERP is designed to kill the SILO or the silo symptoms and kill the Frankenstein. So where did this technology come from? We go back to the 1960s. So Toyota needed to build beautiful cars with, 30,000 parts. If you miss one screw, you can't finish the car. So they built a software called MRP, or Material Requirement Planning. It was just like a calculator. You told it, I want to build 10 cars, and it calculated you need 40 wheels and 10 engines. Then came the 1990s, where the analysts realized that this planning logic shouldn't be just for factory parts, it should be for the whole business. So for HR, instead of planning screws, let's plan people. And for finance, instead of planning engines, let's plan cash flow. Then Y2K hit. Every major company in the world was terrified that their old systems would crash at the turn of the millennium. So in the late 90s, they all switched to the modern ERPs like SAP and Oracle. That was the boom. So today, banks use ERP, hospitals use ERPs, and even your local coffee chain uses an ERP. So what exactly is inside the box? So think of an ERP like a human body. So it has organs or modules that share the same blood, which is the data. And here are the 6 big organs that you need in your body, right? I know there are a lot more, but these are the 6 main ones. So organ number 1 is finance, which is your heart. This is the core. But unlike QuickBooks, it supports multi everything. So you have multi currency, multi company, multi country tax, and it consolidates everything so that the CEO knows if the company is healthy. Organ number 2 is your supply chain, which is your hands. This handles the physical world. So the system watches your stock. It says, we have 10 units remaining, and I'm going to automatically email the supplier to buy 50 more. No human needs to remember. The hands do it all. Organ number 3 is the CRM, which is the face. So in a siloed business, the sales guy will not talk to the finance guy. In an ERP, they are married. The CRM won't let a salesperson create a new quote if the client hasn't paid their last 3 invoices. So the face knows what the heart knows. Now, organ number 4 is manufacturing. That's the muscle. So this tracks, your waste, your scrap, machine time, and it tells you exactly to the last penny how much it costs to make one specific unit that is critical for margin protection. So as an example, if I'm manufacturing this phone, it will tell me how much time did I spend in, let's say, manufacturing it, distributing it. It tells me the cost of the manufacture of the parts, etc., the logistics and everything. Now, organ number 5 is your HR, which is your soul. So why is HR in an ERP? Because when you pay an employee $5,000, that data needs to instantly hit finance as an expense. And so if HR is separate, you rely on manual entry. And if it's integrated, then it's automatic. Organ number 6 is your e-commerce, which is your mouth. So modern ERPs like Odoo and NetSuite have a website built in. So when a customer clicks buy, they aren't sending an email, they are writing directly into your backend database. And there is no sync. It is one system. So let's go back to our red t-shirt disaster. So here is scenario B, which is the ERP way. So the sales rep enters the order into the ERP. Boom. The moment he clicks save, the ERP updates the inventory from 10 to 0. And it does all of this in 1/10 of a second globally. Now at 10:05, the web customer logs in. So the website checks the database and it sees that the quantity is 0, and then it automatically displays out of stock. Now the customer cannot buy that. You didn't lose money, you saved your reputation. Meanwhile, finance has recorded the revenue, the warehouse has received the pick list, And everyone, sales, finance, and the warehouse, are all looking at the exact numbers at the same exact time. And this is the single source of truth. Now, where does this brain live? This is the biggest debate in the industry, which is cloud versus on prem. Now, in option A, on premise, the old way, you buy the license up front. Let's say you're buying $100,000 worth of licenses. You buy a server rack. You hire an IT guy called Dave to guard the room. And, everything is within your own environment. Now, the pros of it is you own it. But if you look at the cons, it's expensive and stressful. Now, if you look at option B, which is the cloud or the SaaS way, which is the modern way, you rent it. So you pay a subscription fee per user, and the software lives, let's say, on Amazon AWS or Microsoft Azure. Now, the pros are you can access it from your phone, from home, or from the beach. You don't need Dave. The cons are you don't own it. So, in my view, unless you're the CIA or you are a nuclear power plant, go cloud. The ability to scale without buying hardware is the only way to compete in 2025. So you want a brain transplant, but there are 500 options. How do you choose? The ERP market is more like a pyramid, right? Small businesses. So let's say I would say tier three would be a small business with revenues, say, between $1 million and $10 million. So examples of the ERP for that sector would be, let's say, Odoo, Zoho One. And the cost is what? Maybe around $30 to $50 per user. If you're leaving QuickBooks, then you need to start there. Now, tier two for me would be the mid-market businesses, which have revenue between, say, 10 million and 500 million. Examples of ERPs in that area would be Oracle NetSuite, Microsoft Dynamics 365. You can even talk about SAP Public Cloud. This is the sweet spot for VC-backed startups and growing manufacturers. So if you plan to IPO or go global, look here. Now, the tier one would be the giants, right? Where the revenue is above $1 billion. You would use ERPs like SAP S for HANA Rise, or you would use, Oracle Fusion. These run the world economy. So you're talking about the likes of Coca-Cola, Nike, BMW. They're very complex and expensive. Do not buy these until you have a team of around 50 accountants. So let's summarize. An ERP is not a software. It's the cure for your business amnesia. It connects your eyes, your legs, and hearts in one organism. But here's the truth. 60% of companies that try to install an ERP or implement it fail, and they go out of budget and they break their operations or they get fired. Why? It's not because of the software. SAP and Oracle work perfectly fine. The problem is the humans. And I've identified the 7 specific mistakes that cause these projects to crash. And none of them have anything to do with the code. So if you're thinking about signing a contract with the vendor, do not do it until and unless you watch this video right here. Why ERP projects fail and the 7 human errors. Now, I'm going to show you the traps that vendors won't tell you about so you don't become a statistic. I'm Noel Benjamin Dcosta. Thanks for watching this masterclass. And I'll see you in the next video to save your budget. Ciao.